Belarus President team has arrived in Turkmenistan's Awaza city, which will host the third UN conference on landlocked developing countries. The first one was held in Kazakhstan more than 2 decades ago and resulted in adoption of Almaty program of action, which addressed and specified the special needs of countries with no access to the world oceans. This time, we expect the arrival of the President of Kazakhstan here in Turkmenistan. Today, he will attend the events among other high-level participants of this meeting, including the heads of state, the UN's General Secretary, government officials and policymakers. We are here to provide you with all important information, so let's get started. In the hours before the arrival of the President of Kazakhstan, there is a bus in the airport of the resort city of Awaza, located on the very shore of the Caspian Sea. Now, the presidential aircraft landed. President Tokayev is welcomed by the chairman of Halk Maslihati of Turkmenistan, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov himself. Two of them met just recently in Kazakhstan's Turkestan city. Now it's a warm and welcoming meeting again, this time for participating in the third UN conference on landlocked developing countries. It's important to mention that Kazakhstan became a platform for the first UN conference on landlocked developing countries in 2003. Since then, the agenda of strengthening multilateral bonds in order to enable sustainable growth has been on the agenda of Kazakhstan's vision of economic development. In a private meeting with Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov ahead of the conference, President Tokayev underlines the positive dynamic of the Kazakh-Turkmen relations, adding that the fact that the conference is being held in the sacred land of Turkmenistan is strong evidence of the country's growing role within a system of international affairs. First, the chairman of Halk Maslihati invites the distinguished guests of the conference to the Awaza Congress Center to welcome them to Turkmenistan.
Kassym-Jomart has arrived at one of the venues of the third UN conference on landlocked developing countries. This year, Turkmenistan's Awaza city hosts this event, so we expect President Tokayev address the panel session with his speech later today. The conference is joined by the high-level participants like UN's General Secretary António Guterres, presidents of a number of countries including Central Asia, leading experts and policymakers.
Ahead of the conference, presidents of the Central Asian countries, including Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, met in a narrow format with Turkmenistan's national leader, Arkadaş Berdimuhamedov, to discuss details of regional cooperation. Soon, the capital of Uzbekistan, Tashkent city, will gather all of Central Asia's leaders at the 7th Supreme Consultative Meeting later this year. The third UN conference on landlocked developing countries has started its work. President of Turkmenistan is now opening it with his welcoming speech. President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart, who will deliver his speech addressing the panel session later today. The issues of sustainable development of landlocked countries as well as issues of regional cooperation are on agenda of this event. This once-in-a-decade conference is an opportunity to mobilize international support for 32 landlocked developing countries, making them land-linked, meaning increasingly connected to the rest of the world through an advanced transportation system.
LLDCs may be landlocked, but they are not opportunity locked. And as we have heard repeatedly, geography must not dictate their destiny. These are countries rich in resources, resilience, and ambition. The theme of this conference, Driving Progress Through Partnerships, captures our collective resolve to unlock that potential.
Distinguished delegates,
The head of state, you can say now, is delivering his speech, addressing the conference's panel, opening the discussions on today's agenda. He's emphasizing the importance of connectivity projects, in particular economic cooperation among landlocked developing countries.
Speaking at the conference, President Tokayev highlights the economic potential of landlocked developing countries. These 32 countries represent more than 500 million people. Many of them continue to face barriers in accessing finance, technology, and global markets. He also mentions Kazakhstan's full support of the Awaza action program as a roadmap towards an inclusive and sustainable future.
Kazakhstan believes that LLDCs must be seen as equal and promising partners in shaping global agenda solutions. The voices of landlocked developing countries must be stronger, our cooperation deeper, and collective ambition bolder.
To make these countries land-linked, it's important to strengthen regional connectivity, advance digital transformation, and promote long-term sustainable growth. The Kingdom of Morocco, for example, represented at the conference by the Minister of Transport and Logistics, is one of the initiators of boosting transport connectivity in sub-Saharan Africa.
The Kingdom of Morocco has been one of the first countries in the world who promote this initiative to open the enclaved countries to the ocean. And for our geographic situation, we have many countries in Africa, in South Sahel, who are far from the sea. And we have an initiative from our king of the Mohammed VI, God save him, which offer to those countries the possibilities of having the access to the sea, to the Atlantic Sea, of course, to give them an opportunity for importing and exporting with the reasonable price.
In his bilateral meeting with President of Turkmenistan, Serdar Berdimuhamedov, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev emphasizes that this event is an important platform for the exchange of views on landlocked developing countries. The counterparts also reaffirmed their commitment to the course of comprehensive development of strategic partnership between Astana and Ashgabat. Central Asia is a dynamically developing region that attracts the attention of other regional players, global financial institutions, and the private sector. The Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, for example, has been actively involved in sustainable development of the region, with an investment portfolio worth nearly $10.6 billion in Central Asia and the Caucasus. Investing in connectivity and large infrastructure projects is the only way for a sustainable future, the bank's representatives highlighted to Silkway.
Since our inception, we have invested $9 billion into landlocked developing countries, directly in landlocked developing countries like Kazakhstan, like Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Georgia in the region. But we also invested in other landlocked developing countries like Laos, Nepal, Rwanda. Now, in the region, many of our projects are directly linked to connectivity, whether it's road projects or electricity transmission projects. We're also currently much involved in the middle corridor, both in terms of transport and renewable energy. There are plans to link renewable energy generation in Central Asia, in Kazakhstan, and the other landlocked countries through the Caspian Sea, the Caucasus, the Black Sea into Europe, so that Europe could avail of renewable energy from Central Asia.
Now, dear guests, are welcome. This is the Kazakh village and the Kazakh traditional life.
After the official program was done, the distinguished guests of the conference visited the exhibition pavilions of Central Asian countries Kazakhstan's exposition attracts everybody's attention as it decorated in the spirit of national traditions. Here, the visitors have been acquainted with the yurts and their interiors, national rituals and performances. Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan also prepared their pavilions, demonstrating the rich cultural heritage and hospitable spirit of the peoples of the region.
Unlocking potential of developing nations is possible only through boosting connections, connectivity projects, fair and just partnerships, as well as regional cooperation. That was the bottom line we heard at the discussions on 3rd UN Conference of Landlocked Developing Countries. See you next time in the next location, and for now, goodbye.